Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning to the audience.
Hello.
Everyone.
We're going to wait another minute to give everybody a chance to join.
Good.
How's everyone doing this morning?
Very good. Paul, how are you?
Struggling with the heat wave here in Vienna, but otherwise good.
Still.
Nice.
I just arrived in Amsterdam, and actually here it's like 16 degrees, so it's much more bearable. And I had also a very good night's sleep because the temperature was a little bit lower.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to our sessions next week.
Yeah, me too.
When are you leaving, Paul?
Monday morning.
Easy.
People are joining. Fantastic.
Okay, I guess we're 2 minutes in. Why don't we kick it off? Thank you very much for joining today's session. We are having a webinar today about Valutico's new AI due diligence tool. This is something that you obviously have heard about. Max, somebody you might have not seen before. Alex and me might be familiar faces already. Maybe we can move forward with the slides, please. Yeah. If I may introduce my co-panelists today, I'm the guy on the left. You've heard a lot about me. Alex Lachinger, co-founder and chief revenue officer, and Max Arich, who, and I can already, I think, talk about this also on this webinar, joined the company now fully as of 2 weeks ago, because we had the pleasure of acquiring Paralog, Max's previous company. Max and Valutico, or Paralog and Valutico, worked together over the last year and a half or so to build due diligence, what we're going to show you today. And very happy to report that we're all one company now. Gents, you want to do a quick introduction for yourself?
Definitely.
How should we run this?
Sounds good. So as Paul mentioned, I'm Alex. I'm the co-founder of Valutico. I want to kick it off with what's in for the audience really quick. So very exciting. We will be showing you how we can speed up your diligence process. We did it ourselves when we acquired the company from Max. And I think what we can show you is really to get the diligence process from weeks and months to days and hours. So stay tuned. I think we have a really exciting product for you to show you. And I hand it over to you, Max.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, so my name is Max. I'm now VP of AI Research here at Valutico. Formerly, I'm also the co-founder, one of the co-founders of Paralog, an AI research lab based out of Vienna. We're actually a spin-off of the University of St. Gallen, so it all came out of our academic research also. And we had the great pleasure of joining Valutico actually just a few weeks ago. So it's all very, very new and exciting also for us, and we're very excited to show you guys what we built together. Yeah, all right. So then back to you, Alex, and let's maybe go real quick to what we're jumping through.
Perfect. What is on our agenda for today? So a very, very brief introduction to Valutico. Afterwards, we will talk about the concerns and solutions for AI in the due diligence process. This will be followed by a platform demonstration of our tool. Afterwards, you can ask questions. By the way, you can also always ask questions if anything is unclear. So please use the chat, and we will be monitoring the chat and answer any questions. And at the end, if you stay with us for the whole hour, we have an exclusive offer at the end.
I'll cover the brief intro.
Very good, Paul, please.
For those of you who don't know us yet, Valutico has been around since 2018. That's when we launched. Background of the company, very much, I would say, frustration with the status quo in valuations in mergers and acquisitions. We wanted to build a tool that that we wanted to have, that we wanted when we were analysts. Today, a few years in, we have around 800 clients around the world in 90 countries, a team of 80 team members also around the world. So we really believe in being where you guys are, where our clients are, and we are very happy to report that on the platform as of today. Well, that's a bit outdated actually. It's more like 15,000 valuations done every year on the Valutico platform. Next slide, please. Well, just a few examples of companies we work with. These are some larger ones, maybe more recognizable ones, but what I would like to stress is that we like to work with big firms and small firms In fact, the reason why we built Valutico was to give also smaller players, the chance to compete in an increasingly global competition and to level the playing field. Give everyone the same tools to do your work professionally.
Perfect.
Honestly, we already have our first poll.
Exactly. I think when we're talking about clients, I thought it's a good idea to start the poll already. Perfect. Paul, what's the breakdown of our clients at the moment? So we're targeting M&A advisors, accountants. Can you talk a little bit who we're working with in general?
So it's roughly 40% M&A and corporate finance advisory.
Okay.
Another 40% tax, audit, accounting, consulting. And then that leaves 20%, which is roughly 10% banks and 10% banks and other corporates, I should say, and 10% investment management. So private equity, venture capital, family offices.
Very good. When you're talking about M&A, is it more on the sell side, more on the buy side? Do we serve both?
Both. I'd say maybe a little more on the sell side because a lot of our clients also work with sort of mid-market clients, and that obviously that work tends to be focused on sell side. But maybe a little bit more, but very, very balanced actually.
Very good. I think this is also now reflected in our poll results. I think I can end the poll and share the results. And poll share results. Also today, we have many participants from the M&A space, but also from business consultants, private equity, venture capital. Very nice. Perfect. And I think we have a second question prepared before we go into our concerns of AI. Perfect. Back, poll, launch. So we are very interested in how you see AI in the due diligence process. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about your concerns. Okay. What are the main concerns? Yes, please, Max.
Yeah, and also, of course, feel free, to choose multiple options here. Most likely, it's not just a single one, I would suppose.
Very good. So what are the options? Data security, reliability on findings, integrations with workflows, the costs, the learning curve, or you don't have any major concerns, which is fantastic. I give it 10 more seconds. Great. I end the poll. And again, I share the results. So the number one concern is reliability on findings. And then the number two would be the data security. And number three is integration and costs. Lovely. So maybe I start with my personal concern about AI. So I've been using ChatGPT probably since 1.5 years now. And since then, there was a rapid growth for AI. There are new tools coming out every day. There's Perplexity, there's Gemini, there is tools from AWS, OpenAI, there's DeepSeek. So I was struggling a little bit myself, which tool to use, and also to be updated which version even of the GPT versions to use. So I've had a little bit of a fear of missing out, to be completely honest. What is the best tool? What should I use? This was like a personal experience from me. And this is also what our clients told us the last couple of months, that they felt a little bit overwhelmed. They know, or everyone is aware, we should use AI. It's here to stay. But what technology should I use?
And I would also say that there's pressure to do something, right? I mean, nobody wants to be left behind, right? Everybody feels like the competition is doing something, but that and then there's pressure to adopt something, right? And quickly.
Fully agree.
Yeah, 100%. I can fully understand. Like for me, right, a large part of my job is just staying up to date, and this has become like a really large part, right? I need to spend hours every week to stay up to speed. And there has been a notion of, in the beginning, it was like 2 or 3 years ago, things were moving very fast, really rapidly. Then we had a little bit of a slowdown, and now things are picking up again, and we are really seeing the speed. And interestingly, also what we see is that the focus of adoption and the focus of the transition is shifting a little bit more from the research towards the application of AI tools. And this is also interesting for us, of course, to see, because this is also now directly translating to a increasing challenge for our customers.
Mm-hmm.
Very good, very good. Guys, shall we already talk about how we tackle this fear, this concern? Max, what do you want to talk about? How we implement AI into our new Done Diligence tool?
Sure. Yeah. So what we want to do here with also like really to be very specific maybe about our approach here is we want to really stay ahead of the movement, basically stay ahead of all the transformation that's happening at the moment, and bring the best of all of this onto one platform so that our customers and the users of our platform can rest assured that they are always using the latest tech that is up to the job also. Of course, now this also means that we have to do, rapid development. Things are really changing fast. New models come out, new paradigms. Even sometimes we have to change systems rapidly. But we're really up to the challenge, and this is also something that we really enjoy doing here at Paralog. So our AI research lab. Staying up to the latest challenges.
So is it fair to say that basically you guys have the headache of all the new tech, and you take that over for our clients?
Yeah, that is
So
actually
they don't
very
have to
fair.
worry about it.
Exactly. So we are in all of the feeds and all of the geeky forums everywhere on the internet, lurking around and looking for the latest tech to bring to you guys.
Nice. Paul, what do you think is another concern for you about AI and due diligence?
I mean, the data, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that phrases it really well, right? Do I give up control? Can I trust the results? I think we get to the data later, right?
This is also the number one concern that was now mentioned from our participants, right?
Yeah.
Can I trust the results?
What about hallucinations, for example, right?
Exactly. If there's a term hallucination that came up with AI, my understanding is that the AI sometimes invents data, and they give you wrong results. But Max, maybe from a technical point of view, can you explain hallucination and again how we tackle it?
Yeah, sure. So hallucination, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the term, right? It's one of the major challenges that we face when using generative AI. So hallucination basically is an artifact of the way these models learn and these models are built. That's because there is one specific step in the training of these models that aligns these models with human preferences. And in general, human preferences is often measured as helpfulness, and helpfulness is often measured as, do I get an answer to my question, right? So these models typically during the training process, they are rewarded when they answer your question. Now, during the training process, of course, they are trained on answers where the model should know the answer to. And now this gives rise to the problem that this training the model to answer a question, right? This translates also to the weird artifact of hallucinations, which then means the model also answers the question if it doesn't know the answer, because it's trained to do that. It's always rewarded if it gives you an answer. It's typically not rewarded if it refuses to answer the question. So this poses this base problem, but it's also actually, and that's something that goes a little bit deeper, it's going deeper into the technology also. So there is actually technically at the moment no way with these models that we are talking about, LLMs, they're mostly, also almost exclusively, right? They're based on the transformer architecture of AI models. And this is an architecture that's basically fundamentally flawed, if you want to say so. So we can never really get rid of these hallucinations. There are, however, things we can do to reduce the level of hallucinations. If we know why these are happening, right? I've just mentioned, these models just want to give you an answer basically at any costs because they just want to answer. That's what they're trained for, right? So one example, maybe to give you one short example that we tackle this problem, of course, this is just one of an array of measures we do here. But one of the examples we do is we give the model another way to make us happy, so to speak, right? So instead of just answering the model to answer the question, we tell the model, well, please answer the question, or if you can't answer the question, give me an actionable task that I can complete that will help you answer the question. And I will also be very happy with that.
Very nice. Very nice. I think we will be also showing this in our platform.
Yes,
but,
exactly.
I think it's a very smart way of tackling this. Am I in control of my results? Can I trust the results?
Exactly.
By giving you an out to get more information to get the right results. Very
Is that, for example, the equivalent in our platform is when it creates a task for a human?
Exactly, that's the equivalent. And also,
Exactly.
of course, one thing that we always think of from the ground up when we build generative AI software is transparency, right? And traceability in particular, because whenever you get some kind of analysis, some kind of result from an AI model, you always need to be on top, right? You need to know where's information coming from. You need to check it. And we see it as our job to make it as easy and convenient as possible for you to check what the AI gives to you, right? That's also why we have different features in place. We'll have a look at that later, that make it as easy as possible for you and your team to really check these answers.
Very cool. Max, there was one term that you mentioned, LLM, large language model, right? I think everyone is aware, but let's still explain it for 1 second. My understanding is LLMs, modern AIs, there's huge amounts of data, then you have some kind of interface, and then the ChatGPT analyzes this data and gives you quick answers.
Yes, exactly.
Did I miss something? Is this correct, what I said?
This is pretty much what LLMs do. So LLMs, as you mentioned, large language models, they're trained on language, as the name suggests. And what they do basically is, so there's also a term called statistical parrot. So it's just repeating, right? It's repeating after the data it sees. So they are trained on a large amount of text data, and then they learn statistical representations and patterns in this data, and then they always predict. So predict in this LLM language means basically spit out the most likely next words to a sequence of words. And that's really the core of this technology. So also if you see some kind of fancy tool calling, maybe some web searches going on, AI models doing different kind of tasks for you as a user, it's always based on this basic text interface. The model itself is always constrained to spitting out text.
Very good. And if you think about it, the due diligence process is perfect for this, right? You have a virtual data room, you have huge amounts of data, then you typically have questionnaires that you go through for your commercial DD, for your financial DD, and so on. So hence, a year ago, we saw the potential, and then together with you, Max, we started developing this AI tool for due diligence. Perfect use case.
Exactly. Yeah, we find that due diligence actually is a very interesting use case. First of all, because we think the utility we can get out of this technology for this specific set of problems is very high. On the other side, we also see this, field of tension. On the one side, there's so much to gain from an efficiency standpoint, right? But on the other side, also we are fighting these problems, as we mentioned, hallucinations, which are really, really bad for, of course, due diligence processes, right? We don't want to have that here. So we see it as our job to bring the one end of this technology, which gives you all the benefits to you, without and at the same time, taking care of all these of all these problems that arise by doing so.
Very nice, very nice. Paul, you mentioned data as well. It's one of your concerns.
Can't wait to talk about it, guys. Yes.
Let's go. Is my client data safe?
I mean, look, coming from an M&A background, this would have been my first question, right? Obviously something that our clients care deeply about, right? And so me as an advisor to my client, a trusted advisor, I want to make sure that my client's data is safe. How do we do that?
Yeah, great question. Of course, like data security, always our first main concern, right? So this, before we make anything work, we make sure that the data is secure. That's also why we committed to a 100% data residency inside the European Union. So any kind of data you ship to us will be stored and processed exclusively in the European Union. And we also don't use any third-party processing providers or AI providers. So your data, for example, will never go to OpenAI. It will never go to Anthropic. It will never go to any third-party LLM provider, also AI inference provider. And of course, we have an array of very stringent security measures in place. We are also preparing for our SOC 2 compliance audit. So that's also on our roadmap, and we are working towards that at the moment. So that we have really an array of measures here in place. Also, we have a very thorough documentation on this topic. So if some of our audience would be interested in that, of course, we're happy to follow up here. I would love, yeah.
No, I think that's good, Max. I think I started the third poll really quick, and while the poll is launching, one more story about data security. So maybe personal story from our side really quick. Just I think 2 weeks ago, we got tested by one of the largest banks here in Europe, and Valutico scored them among the top 10 most secure companies ever tested. Or was it top 5 even, Paul? I forgot. I think it was top 5 even.
Top 5, yeah.
Yes,
and we're competing here with very, very large organizations. So yeah, great result.
Exactly. So data security is definitely top of our charts, and your data is safe with Done Diligence and with us.
Exactly. Yeah, and also on a side note, we're also investing in auditability of our infrastructure and of the software. So, for example, whenever you uploaded some data to our virtual data room that's embedded in Done Diligence, we will always track access, right? And so we will keep thorough access logging, of course. So in case there should be any kind of issues, we have these to investigate, and will always be able to see who exactly has access to your data.
Very good. Lovely. The poll is running 1 minute. I'm ending the poll and I'm sharing the results. Very interesting. Very interesting. So number 1, reduce time. I think this one was expected. The number 2, handle large amounts of data, is very interesting to me personally. With Done Diligence, there is also a VDR included. So we can tackle that also later in the demonstration.
I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense, right? Because you do tend to have more and more data in the M&A process, and that just makes it harder and harder, right, to manually sift through all of that data, right, as an analyst or as a consultant. So it totally makes sense, right? And the volume, the data volumes keep increasing, right? Everybody has more and more stuff available.
Good. Great, guys. Thank you very much for the introduction. I think let's show the power of Done Diligence. Max, do you want to switch to the platform?
All right, yeah, let's jump right in. Let me close this up here real quick. Oops.
And thanks all for all the participants.
Perfect. I've now jumped into the platform right away. So as we mentioned earlier, right, we are tackling the problem of due diligence processes. But in general, we also, of course, offer features that are valuable whenever you have to analyze large amounts of data, want to prepare some thorough analysis that's based on private data or publicly available data on the internet. And what we found in discussions with our customers is that often for these kind of processes, maybe let's stick with a due diligence process, there's already in the company some kind of questionnaire, some kind of template, some kind of Q&A checklist maybe available that's been used, throughout multiple projects that might already been vetted by you, right? This is a process you trust. It's basically your process of analysis.
Exactly.
And we've shifted this.
Sorry, go ahead, Max.
And we've shifted this to the platform, the same process. So we have this notion of a template. A template is holding all these questions, all these Q&A checklists you might have, and models it on the platform so that our AI system can pick it up and do the work for you. We also included a very handy auto import feature for you. So we might come back to that later. So you will not need to manually enter all these questions on the platform, but you can just drag and drop your questionnaires that you already have, be it an Excel, be it a PDF, a Word file, whatever you have, and it will automatically be imported into the platform.
Very nice.
So
maybe on the templates really quick. I mean, we, as we mentioned, we are working with lots of M&A advisors and other consultants. They told us they have their own questionnaires, right? So what we did is we talked to around about 25 of our clients, and we combined the best practices of multiple of these questionnaires into our platform. So these questionnaires are usually very kept secret, right, Paul? I think you know this. So we're very grateful for our clients to develop this tool together with them to their needs. And as you can see, we developed different questionnaires for different purposes, for the commercial DD, for the legal DD, tax DD, HR, and so on. And as Max mentioned, you can bring your own templates and also upload them to the system really easily.
And I want to emphasize how incredibly simple it is to bring your own stuff in, whether you have it in a spreadsheet or you have your Word questionnaire or even a PDF or whatever it is, you just upload it. Valutico recognizes it all and creates a template for you. So the onboarding process is as seamless as it can be. I was amazed when I saw that.
Yeah, exactly. So we really, we invested also in making the platform flexible to fit your processes as they are at the moment. We want you to do your analysis in a better way, not change your processes.
Should we take a look at the commercial DD? Or which one would you choose, Max?
No, let's go with the commercial one. I think it's a great choice. So these are the default templates Alex already mentioned. So the platform comes with these by default. You will all have access to these out of the box, basically. One of these is the commercial one. Let's click into that one. And here we can see how these questionnaires look like. And they resemble really closely a Word document. So you can just, go ahead here, edit whatever you like, until you are there where you want it to be. And we see that these questionnaires, they're made out of these gray boxes here, okay? And these gray boxes, these represent the questions that you actually have about the analysis. So in this case, we have one question regarding market analysis. And each of these questions is made up of 3 fields. We have the first one, which is the title. That's, I think, pretty self-explanatory. It's the title of the question. Then we have the description, which is the question itself, the question in a nutshell, so to speak. And then we have the most interesting field, I think, which is the instructions field. And the instructions field, that will be given directly to the AI system. And you can here prompt the system to nudge it, or actually to direct it in a way that you want it to have. For example, you can tell the model or the system how you want the research to be done. Do you want the model to favor the data information in the data room over the information on the internet? Or do you want maybe some special, and the framework of analysis to be followed? What you can also do here is specify a very specific output format that you want the model to adhere to. So in this example, here we have another question about the competitive landscape. And in these instructions, first of all, we see that we want to have an analysis that's made that's structured like this here. And we also see that we prompt the model here to come up with a table that looks like this, which will then really make the model come up with this table, fill it with the data it finds, either in the data room or on the public internet, and provide it to us as an answer. So this is where you basically come in, and you can put your business logic, put your experience, and groom these templates to really fit your processes and to give you the exact results you want.
Very nice. Very nice. When I showed this to clients, Max, everyone was really happy because, nowadays, I'm honest, I'm not really good at prompting. Right? I don't know what I can write. So we took this pain away from our clients, right? And we prompt for you. Okay. So whenever you upload a question, our system then analyzes the questions and also writes prompts for you. So you can obviously, as Max said, adjust the prompts. Yeah. Let's say you're on the buy side, you want to be very critical. Yeah. Sell side, maybe a little bit more generous. But in theory, you can really add who you are, right? But the instructions to our AI are already pre-filled from the system.
Exactly. So this brings us also back to one of the 3 challenges we discussed earlier, right? Knowledge. We don't assume that our customers and the users of the platform are knowledgeable about this technology. We want to give you this tool and the power of this technology without being an expert in the field, which means you don't have to study how to prompt, because this always changes with, new generations of models. You get it out of the box, and you get very, very good default instructions here.
Very cool. Nice.
All right.
Start a project.
Yeah. So now, once we're happy with our questionnaire, you might have, of course, imported your own here. We're ready to actually jump into some analysis and get some work done. So to do this, we get to the project section. We can see here on this account, we have quite a number of demo projects. Let me choose one where we have a demo data room available. I can do that by just, filtering the projects. Project with a data room. And here we have 2 of these demo projects. I'll choose this project Witcher, which is about a Polish software company called CD Projekt SA. And here we can see that in this project, we have prepared 4 questionnaires. So the commercial questionnaire has been prepared twice, once by my colleague Piotr and once by me. And the financial questionnaire has also been prepared. Then here is the short demo questionnaire. But what I want to draw your attention to first is the data room that comes with the platform, actually. So now we're inside the project. Each project, so these data rooms always live inside a project. They're scoped to one project, so to speak. Each project comes with one of these data rooms. We click the files here, which brings us to the data room, and we can see that here, this is now the minimal version of the data room in this project. We have these files uploaded already, so we can also have a look at them, of course. Let's have a look at Appendix 3 terms, and we can see here that we uploaded this document to the data room, and it is now available to the system and the AI for further analysis. So now, once we have all our data put in the data room, of course, we also support Excel files, Word files, PDF files, you name it. Basically, everything's supported here. So you can also extract financials from Excel files, for example. Once we're happy with that and we have put all the data into the data room, we can actually go ahead, take one of the questionnaires we discussed earlier, and get some answers for the questions in the questionnaire. Let's have a look at this one. It's the commercial one we discussed just a minute ago. And here we can see how this looks like once the AI has done its job. So we can see, again, this is the very questionnaire we discussed earlier. The first question is about market analysis. And we can see that the model came up with this answer here. So it gave us a pretty concise, pretty extensive analysis. And the first that comes to mind is that here we have these citations, these citation anchors. So this speaks to the concept of traceability that we mentioned earlier also. Whenever the system does a factual statement, we want the system to give you a citation to the actual origin, to the source of this information. So in this case, we have a factual statement, of course, that something has been increasing from 0 to 0.6%. And now we can hover over this citation, and then we get a preview of the page where this information has been coming from. So this is just so you can very quickly, eyeball where it's coming from without leaving even this analysis. And if you want to further step into this and have a look into this, you can also click this, which will bring up the document on the right side. It will load it into the editor, and after a while, when this document is rather large, I think, but when it's fully loaded, it will get you to the exact page where this information is coming from, and you can continue your analysis from there. Oops. So here, the idea is we want to make it as simple as possible for you to check where the information is coming from without changing context, okay? So without actually leaving this view here. So we can also see, of course, that there is some information coming from the internet, as indicated by these colorful icons here. So this is, for example, information that comes from Statista. We also have information that comes from other websites here. Whenever we want to check this out, of course, we just, click this and you will be taken to the website where this is coming from.
Very cool. So Max, do I understand this correctly? The system is scraping the data from the virtual data room, but we are also scraping the whole World Wide Web, and then we are combining the findings in the answers. Is this correct?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So at the moment, we are using also information from the web. We are also working towards integrating more data providers. So this is also something on our roadmap. We are interested in doing that, so that you will really get every possible source of intelligence you can get for your analysis.
Very cool.
What about social media, Max? Is that something we already include?
So what we actually see a lot is LinkedIn, because obviously when you do some kind of HR analysis, there's a lot of useful information on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is coming in quite often. We refrain from using social media like Facebook or X, because we don't really see these as very reliable sources of information. Of course, like if you explicitly prompt the model to do so, it will do so. But in general, what we mostly see is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is really for HR related analysis. It's really a useful source.
Very good. The graph that we just see, is this coming from a presentation, or is this generated also by the system?
Yeah, so you can see this graph. It has been created by the system. So the system has found some data. It decided, okay, this might be worth to visualize actually, and enhance the analysis. And then it comes up with these graphs. We have different kinds of graphs, of course. So we also have, like here is pie chart also, with the different markets that this company is in, right? So the system can also visualize figures and numbers for you. Oh, and here, by the way, we see the table that we had a look earlier, right? So this is the sum analysis, and here we see the table. It's been filled by the model, just as we prompted it to do. So this is also an example of how you can really direct the model in a way, and to really specify how you want the output to be.
Very cool.
All right. So once we have, and here also, for example, with the competitor landscape map, this is also pretty neat analysis by now. The model spits out here. All right. So once we're happy with that, because I earlier mentioned, right, what about hallucinations? What about maybe missing information, gaps in our information landscape? And here we came up with a solution that the model is, whenever it's not able to answer a question satisfactorily. For example, there might be missing information from the data room. Think about a scenario like you requesting a financial analysis, right? And you want the model to look into the latest balance sheets, for example, from 2024, let's say. And now the data room only contains data from 2023. So in this case, the model wouldn't be able to answer this question, but this would be a very, normally this would be a dangerous case because it might be a candidate for hallucination. The model might come up with data from 2023 instead of 2024 and think it just gets through with it. Of course, shouldn't be the case. So in this case, what the model does is it actually goes ahead and it creates tasks for you as a human analyst to complete, or for your team to complete. So let's have a look at this pastel analysis, for example, and check if there are any tasks that were created associated here. Okay, actually here, everything looks fine. Maybe let's start with the tasks on a global level. So here, as I mentioned, this is the questionnaire with all the answers that have been prepared by the model. We can go here now to the task section here on the top, click this, and this will bring in all the tasks that have been created by the AI during the evaluation of this questionnaire. So we can see in this case, the model found 7 issues, the way it needs help, actually. So 7 times the model said, hey, I don't know how to go on. There's missing information. I need the help of your team, basically. And in this case, the model automatically creates these tasks for you. Let's have a look at one of those. So one of the tasks states, request key customer contact information from the company, and here we have a detailed description of the task, what we need to complete. Here we have some controls for task management, so we can actually assign this task to one of our coworkers. Let's go ahead and assign it to you, Paul.
Not me again.
Yeah. Sorry. Then here we have the priority.
There goes
of
my
course.
weekend.
There goes your weekend. Yes, exactly. And also what we have here is the link, right, to the question. So if I click this link, it will take me. Oops, I think I need to. Is this a new tab now? Yeah. It will take me to the question that has which is this one, which actually gave rise to this task. So while answering this question about key customer contract analysis, the model said, okay, well, I need a little bit more information to answer this satisfaction. And so it created this task for us. It's also attached at the bottom here. Actually, this was seems to be a pretty tough question for the model because it created 5 tasks out of this. So there's a lot of information missing. This is also natural because actually we didn't upload any documents about this topic to the data room.
I mean, that would be great if I were to prepare a data room, right? I'm on the sell side. I want to help my client prepare the data room. It tells me exactly what's missing, right? From the perspective of a buyer.
Exactly. That's also one of the ideas we had in mind when building this feature. So this also does, of course, it's great for a gap analysis, right? You run one of the questionnaires you might, for example, run on your clients, right? And then you see what data is missing. Where do we need to add more information? Of course, now also, we want to keep you in control here. On the project level, we also have this task board. So here you have for this project, which again is this Polish company, right? CD project. We have all the tasks that have been created across all the questionnaires, because of course, we might have actually evaluated 5 questionnaires, not just one, as we've seen now. And here we have all the tasks in an overview, and here we can also track the progress. For example, let's say I'm working on this now. Let's say this is completed. Let's go. We can also switch to list view here. And one of the most interesting and useful features I think here we have is that once you have completed a task, let's say let's look for the one that I just assigned to you, Paul. This one here. Oops. This one here. Let's say this is completed now. All right. And let's say, I mean, there is already a comment here, right? But let's just update this comment. Let's say I put the missing documents in the data room under /documents/contracts. Okay. Let's post this. Now we have this information on the task. And what we can do now is click again this link to the question, which will bring us to the question that requested this information. And here we can go ahead and we can click reevaluate here. Reevaluate will then give us this opportunity to prompt the model also. Now, of course, we know that this task has been completed. The system will know that this task has been completed. So we don't actually need to put anything here, right? The system will now, when I click update this answer, and it will also have a look at the new documents you uploaded to the data room. So the system is aware. In general, you can assume the system is aware of everything that's going on the platform. But
Absolutely incredible, Max. The time saving on this alone.
Exactly.
I mean, if I remember my analyst times, right? Every day, the client or the other side would upload new documents, and then you have to manually scan what's new, and maybe file it in the correct way, let everyone know that it's there. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. But sorry, please go ahead. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, really, very good insight also from your side, of course. There. So what we can do here, of course, is better to be explicit, right? So implicit. Let's say check the task that has been completed and update accordingly. All right, let's hit update. And this will now send the model back into processing state, and it will now update this answer. Depending on the complexity of the question, of course, this might take somewhere between 5 and 40 minutes. It might really run for a longer time if it needs to do a lot of research.
Very good. How can we
All right.
use this analysis afterwards? How can I share those with other people?
So there's basically two ways to do it at the moment. The easiest way, I think, is just go here, download this as an Excel, as a Word file. Then this will just be exported. The whole document will be exported as a Word file. We'll have so this will load now for a few seconds. And the other question, of course, I mean, you're free to send this Word file to anyone. You edit this, brand it, whatever you like. The other option would be you can also invite guests, to invite your clients or other stakeholders you're working with to the platform. They will then have a guest seat on the platform, and will be able to navigate this platform natively, and also cooperate with you on any kind of these projects.
Guys, speaking about cooperation, there's one important thing that you haven't even mentioned yet, but of course I can also go into all these answers and edit them myself, right?
Yes, obviously,
because
right?
It's not just the AI doing the work, it's really the AI agent working hand in hand, so to speak, with the human, right? So if there's something in there you don't like, you can edit everything, right? You can, by the way, you can also write all the answers yourself.
Exactly. Also, one thing that we one usage pattern that we found to be pretty useful, to be honest, is you can also go ahead here, right? Let's say this is you are revising this answer here, and you can go in here and you can actually just type in here, note, make this more precise, right? You can just type in notes that annotates this answer with any kind of notes you might have, right? Any kind of, for example, here, note, this is not what I want. We need, I don't know, data from the US here, right? So you can just go in and go ahead, annotate anything as you like in a very rough way here, and then you can go ahead, click reevaluate here, and say address my notes. And now we'll go ahead and actually update this answer and work all these notes and address all these notes you added to this answer. So it's very flexible also.
Wow.
New feature. I hadn't even seen that yet. I have to put it in these sort of, what are they called? Those brackets. So it recognizes it as a note.
No, you just can do it however you like. I will most likely just check it. I like this. I like this. These brackets, because they make it stand out a little. Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. So you can of course edit it yourself, but you can also just annotate and make the model do the footwork then.
So as if giving them a markup to, I don't know, a lawyer, for example, right? To change something in those brackets.
Very cool.
Exactly. I love how you guys replicated sort of the, the human workflows, and you work exactly like you used to work. And there's no need to, to adapt to the AI, the other way around, right? The AI adapts to the human workflow.
Exactly. That's very much where we want to get. That's where we want to get. So we want the AI to, work for you and not you adapting to the technology, because of course you're the experts, you know the process, and we want to, give you the freedom and flexibility wherever possible to do things in your way.
Very nice. Guys, I'm a little bit conscious of time. We have 15 minutes left.
Yeah, perfect.
Is the last feature we want to show in the platform, but
I think for now, of course, to comment to the audience, feel free to follow up whenever you like with certain inquiries, right? So we have a lot more to show, of course. I'm not going into more detail here. We have a lot of collaboration features. You can co-edit, of course, in real time, all these documents. You can manage permissions for every questionnaire, every project. You can invite, as I mentioned, guest users. You can invite your whole team. There's a lot more to the platform, but I'm not going into detail there, I think. So we're good, I think.
So Max, to summarize for me, a project is basically a data room, right? My files, a collection of questionnaires, and then eventually also tasks, right?
Exactly.
And I think maybe also worth mentioning, we're also adding a QA module, which will also become part of this, and also a summary. Basically, it summarizes all the findings for a sort of whatever higher level view.
Yes. Also, maybe a note here. We are really developing very rapidly here. So there's a lot of new features we have in the roadmap. There's a lot of movement here. So yeah, we're really excited to see where this is going. Of course, I mean, we know where it's going, right? Because we're developing it, but we're still really excited to see it in action.
The audience
Very
can
good.
probably tell because every time you show it to Alex and myself, we're amazed by all the new stuff that hasn't been there
That's
just
great.
last week.
Very nice.
Max, do you want to switch back to the presentation?
Sure.
Very good. So let's start the poll, but you can go to the slide already, I think, to the next one. Great. So we would be super interesting. What capabilities of Done Diligence interests you the most? For us, obviously, the speed aspect is a very big one. So as we mentioned, Max, we bought your company. We hired consultants for that. And in total, I think the due diligence process took us around about 2.5 months. Afterwards, we obviously tested the whole thing with Done Diligence. And I think we boiled it down to 1.5 days, roundabout. And the tool gave us exactly the same results as our consultants. So I hope I didn't overpromise at the beginning. We really reduced the time from months to 1.5 days.
Could have saved a lot of money too.
It could have saved a lot of money too. Yes, the results are absolutely fantastic. I can really vouch for this product as I've tested it myself for acquiring a company. So well done there.
It was really cool seeing this all
Yes.
on firsthand. It was also, of course, a very, very strong argument, right, for the acquisition then in the end.
100%, 100%. What other things can Done Diligence help you with? So we have the speed aspect, obviously.
Quick one, maybe. Oh yeah, sorry, we have some audience questions coming in, but maybe let's go through the slide first. Yeah.
Cool.
Let's finish the slide.
Yeah, Max, if you can click through, I think that's fine. We just pick one or two of the points, I think.
I mean, I'd like to pick up the last one. Focus your efforts where they need it most. I mean, I really like this one, right? Because you know, Done Diligence work won't go away, right? Even if a lot of it is automated, it really gives me as a consultant, as an advisor, time to focus more on the areas where I actually want to focus, right? So Done Diligence does all the grunt work also, right? And I can drill deeper into specific areas, which is exactly what my client usually wants.
Super interesting. Also, the results are in from the audience. I end the poll and I share the results. AI-powered red flag detection is the #1, and the speed aspect is the #2. Perfect.
Makes me happy because the red flag detection is, I think, also top of the roadmap, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, actually, so you can go ahead and, nothing's keeping you from creating a question. Yeah, that's detecting red flags, right? I mean, that's up to you, your way of working. If you want a red flag report, you will get a red flag report. But we also, we are working on a more dedicated, more streamlined process of coming up with a red flag, also a red flag management process on the platform. So that will also soon be natively supported, so to speak.
Very nice. Paul, you mentioned some questions. Shall we go into the QA?
Yeah. So we've got a question from an anonymous attendee. I'm just going to answer that live. And the person asks, so is this accessing the internet as well as the documents you upload? Can you talk more about what information this is based on?
Perfect. Yeah, very good question. Actually, the answer is in the question. Yes, this does access the internet and it accesses the documents in the data room. However, you can, of course, configure the platform to not access the internet if you don't want to have any public information for what reason ever, right? And you can just you could also just go ahead and say, don't use information from the internet. It won't use information from the internet in that case. But at the moment, these are our main two sources of information. So we have the internet, we have also news coverage from the internet, of course, and we have regular internet search. We also leverage the website of the company we are analyzing, right? So whenever you enter information about the company you're analyzing, you will also be prompted to enter the website. We will be using that one also. And of course, any documents that you upload to the data room will be analyzed, yes.
Very good. And then there's another question from Jacek. Is the data quality in VDR the obstacle? I mean, poor file quality.
Poor file quality. Okay, I see. So if you upload like scans with a very bad resolutions, I suppose that would be one of the issues there, right? Yeah, I mean, That's a little bit of a different problem, right? I mean, a lot of companies are struggling with that. We are implementing state-of-the-art OCR technology. That's basically what we offer there. So if you upload poor files, they will be read, they will be OCR'd. Depending on how poor the scan is, like like as a rule of thumb, right? You can think of if you can read it as a human, the system will most likely be able to read it. If you can't really read it as a human, it's also hard for the system to OCR it, because then it's really, it's more of a guesswork then.
I mean, I'm guessing Jacek probably referred more to, sellers not uploading the right information, right?
I see. Okay.
Not so much whatever the poor quality of the
Yeah,
files,
yeah.
because it's a general topic, right? I mean, we can
Yeah.
only analyze what's there, right? If
Exactly,
if the
that's true.
counterparty doesn't provide good information, then yes, we can still use what's in the public domain on the internet, right? But obviously, the better the data in the VDR, the better the outcome.
Yeah, and this is also speaks to the tasks feature, right? So in case some data is missing, you will get the task by the model, and they will be prompted to. And of course, if you have your stakeholder, right, whoever needs to upload this documents on the platform, also you can just assign it a task, right, and that will be assigned to them, so they can tackle it.
Very good.
Cool, Max.
Thank you for the questions.
Max, one question that I get a lot is, did we not train our own LLM, which AI is the base for us? We had this, concern at the beginning that we talked about, which is the best technology. So when I, talk to clients, this is the question that I get very often. Could you quickly explain, which AI models we are using?
Yeah, sure. So that's a very good question, though, because of course we don't train our own foundational models. We train some smaller side models. We customize them, right? We fine tune them, but we don't train our own LLMs, right? Because they would definitely be out of scope, and it will also very likely not give us the best results, to be honest here, right? So what we are doing is we are relying on an array of models. It's not just one model. It's not just prompting ChatGPT, but we have a total of 5 models we use during this research process and during the answer process. So we are using here models from different providers. We're using models that were developed. And also here, to be precise, these models are not operated, for example, by Anthropic. They are just developed by Anthropic. All because what I mentioned earlier, right? We never send any data to Anthropic, OpenAI, or whatsoever.
Very
we only
important
send
point.
data. Yes, we only send data to our trusted cloud provider, and we have and our main trusted cloud provider is AWS. So also to be transparent here, right? The platform runs on AWS, like I think 80% of the internet does, and 80% of SaaS does. So we trust our service provider here. We trust AWS, and all the inference we run, it runs on our infrastructure service providers. So the only one who will be able to control the models. So these models, they are provided by AWS in a very secure enclave, right? So that's what it's called. It's like having a database on AWS. It's also, of course, you can trust them. That's how we operate these models, and there we have an array of models. So we have models from Anthropic, we have models that were developed by Google, we have models that were developed by Amazon, actually. Yeah, cool. So we have an array.
Very nice. So my summary would be we are agnostic and we're always using the best.
Exactly. And also on a side note, maybe
my summary. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
No. Sorry, Paul.
I just want to say my summary would be we're using AWS and thereby best in class, data protection and privacy,
100%.
and also security. There is nothing better, right? You can't build anything better because that's what they do, right? And the other really important point, my takeaway would be that no data will ever go anywhere and train other models, right? Your data will never be found anywhere outside our systems.
Exactly. Also, maybe on a side note, the other day, I actually had a very, very interesting conversation with the former CISO of Google Global, so really with the global size of Google. And he also said, like, the only way to prevent, I mean, obviously he would say that, but he's not CISO anymore. So now he would be able to say anything, right? But he also said, yeah, well, in his opinion, the only way to keep IT systems safe is to, to go with hyperscalers, because they really have the resources. They put in billions and billions each year into security. This is unmatched, right? Otherwise.
Yeah, no, fully agree. Fully agree. Yeah. Great. Shall we end it with the next steps? So if in case you're interested, please reach out to us. You can book a demo via this link. You can also write us at sales@valutico.com. Maybe I quickly write this in the chat. Sales@valutico.com.
Let's keep the slide up so people can maybe take a photo of the
Perfect. And
QR code.
everyone who books a demo now after this webinar gets free access to Done Diligence for 1 week. Yeah. So we really want to put the tools into your hands. We would be very happy to do another training session with you, to do an onboarding with you. Then you can test the tool for 1 week, and then we can move forward. Yeah. So please feel free to book a demo through this link or message us at sales@valutico.com. We will reach out to you probably on Monday, and then we can get back to you and show you the platform and tailor it to your needs.
We have another question, and by the way, keep sending questions. We have a bit more time. Can Done Diligence pass complex spreadsheets? Same question with long PDF that include images, illustrations. I think you like that question, Max, don't you?
Yeah, it's a very good question though. So at the moment, Excel files, those are, I can tell you, those are from a technical perspective, those are a challenge to tackle with LLMs. And we really invested a lot in improving the performance on Excel. So it's not plain vanilla, right? It's not something, it's not just we throw the Excel and maybe convert it to a CSV and then give it to the model. We do much more there. And depending really on the complexity of the Excel file, we have seen very good success there. We have also seen, unfortunately, some not so nice analysis coming out of Excel. But in general, I would really encourage you to just try it for yourself. So I think like we are working on this, right? You can expect us to improve this also. This is something we're actively working on. And we have seen some very, very astonishingly good results, to be honest, right? We also have seen not so good results, just to repeat myself. So I think the way to go here is really, try it out for yourself. Get a demo. It's not something huge to do, right? And then you can see what Done Diligence might be able to do for you there.
I mean, I was amazed to see the improvement, especially over the last 3 to 6 months, right? As the foundation models also got so much better in working with, with spreadsheets. So even if sometimes it's not perfect now, for me, I think if we continue at this pace, in a few months, it will be perfect, just like text analysis is.
Yeah. Exactly. Also to keep that in mind, right? So we're improving all the way, but we're also standing on so to speak, on the shoulders of giants, right? So whenever the base technology improves, we are also improving, and of course, we will pass it on to you also.
Very nice.
With
very
that,
good,
gentlemen, thank you very much.
Yes.
Great session. I learned so much more. I think we should do a webinar every week now, just to keep up to speed on what you're working on. Thank you all for joining today. Please book a session. We'd love to show it to you, and we'd love to get you working on Done Diligence. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Take care.
Yeah.